Welcome everyone, if we're live, to Melbourne qualifying. Maybe Kimi Antonio would need one of these, if I can get my words out. Having had a huge crash in FP3, so I question, yeah, exactly as Michael Owusu says. Let me get that chat up. I question whether that's going to be ready or not, and if it's not ready, is it fair to call that a rookie mistake from Kimi? You know, over a season, could that be the difference between him and George? Because they really do look like favourites, to be honest. Right, bear with me a second. This qualifying is going to be very interesting, because the music stops now, so to speak. And we're actually going to find out. Is it Dirksen who won in F2? Yeah, he's not. So I'd say he's not technically a rookie. I've got to be quiet because I can't wait neighbours up. But it feels like a rookie mistake to me. Welcome Crod26. Welcome Wirasina Madushan. Welcome Quatch Duck, good to see you again. And Chira as well, good to see you. First stream of the year, of the season. Jupiter has as well, so Smart Face. So Smart Face, I'm thinking the new car setup will work better for Gamer. For Gamer, having to stay in high shift. Do you mean for gamers? Curious what that means there. Ah, thank you Michael Owusu for joining the membership. Thank you so much. Chat, please, we can get our claps out for Michael Owusu. You've got access. In fact, I'm gonna get some emojis out for you and show you some of the spread of emojis that we have. Formula 1 themed. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the membership. I need to just update something for on the like front. Let me do that as well. But yeah, considering Russell had a very strong FP3, as you can see, I just wonder if there's going to be big frustration at Mercedes. And also, it's never good crashing your car in FP first race of the season, because often they put that car on a flatbed truck, drive it around, and the other teams can get some snaps of the floor and stuff. You can see exactly what Mercedes have been working on and trying to keep secret. So a couple of consequences there. Let's see if this will work. Yes. Welcome Wayne289. Been watching videos for a while, first time watching a live stream. Welcome to the live experience. How are you finding it? What's different? So Smartface, what do you mean? What did you mean in your first comment? Chai, I'm genuinely curious about how the season will turn out. I feel like there's no guaranteed team. Keep an eye on the Mercedes here. I just wonder if Antonelli's going to be starting from the pits. It's the early morning races, so we bring out the fleece. Is it a third season with this fleece? I'm not sure. Looking pretty dire, I have to say, for Williams. Looking pretty bad for Williams. People had to go at me and I said, I don't think Williams are going to be all good this season. My basis on that was the fact they missed Barcelona. Like, they can sugarcoat that all they want. But for me, that shows they're in a really bad place. And it's the same with Aston Martin. Aston Martin are in a terrible place. And also, what's going on with Cadillac? People thought Cadillac were going to be a bit of a surprise package with the Ferrari engine. But it looks like they are the opposite of a surprise package. They're a very bad package. There we go. There's Michael Owusu looking good in green. Welcome Spaceman as well. Good to see you. Has Bezo, are you going to be streaming video? So we were streaming video earlier in the Discord, but I didn't see you there. So for everyone watching here, we streamed today Moto America in our Discord at Daytona, and we had the actual broadcast footage, which was really exciting. And we had quite a few people there in Discord watching, which was awesome. Welcome Fast FW1s. Oh, you don't have Discord. There we go. Exactly. So it's not as ubiquitous as YouTube. That was fun to do. I'm going to do Daytona 200 today in the Moto America Discord, actually. It's going to be exciting. Maybe one day we'll be able to do that, this kind of stuff as well. But yeah, the Aston Martins clearly not looking very good at all. But likewise with the Cadillacs, likewise with the Williams, likewise with the Alpines. And to be honest, I would say that those three teams... apologies, 4 teams. Those 4 teams might be a bit adrift. Because Audi actually look like they've done a good engine here. Chai says, I wonder how Cadillac's going to perform. Happy to see both Perez and Bottas back. I'm not feeling that good about Cadillac. Unless they've got a very strict free practice regime that they're sticking to. It doesn't look good for Cadillac, in my opinion. Michael, they were saying the Audi team apparently has a lot of experienced staff from the Rod Le Mans team. They bring the goats back. They're going to get Alan McNish in that. Spaceman saying Fernando Alfonso top 3 today, I reckon. No chance. No chance. Not Alfonso's year. We go again next year. Welcome Martin Hampton, good to see you. By the way, really good job on the like front on free practice yesterday. We did, I think we got over 300 likes on free practice. So we should definitely aim for 500 today. We can do it. It was one of the most impressive like charges we've ever done in history. Welcome Vlad as well. Good to see everyone. It doesn't feel that... So I haven't really slept. I was thinking about doing FP3, but I was... thought stick to the plan. So I'm going to sleep after this, I think. But I feel pretty fresh, to be honest. It's not as bad. It's not as bad. And when you think, oh, you know, it's what is it? I don't even know what time. 4 a.m. 4:30. But yeah, it's not that bad. And qualifying starts on the hour. Whenever the next hour starts in the world where you are, apart from if you're in India, which I think is on the half hour. Welcome, Carl 10. Good to see you again from yesterday. Chai did sleep, but got woken up by the cat who came back from his nightly adventures to semi-outdoors cat. Like semi-automatic. S-Tronic. Said cat is now curled up beside me. Welcome Jupiter as well. We are at Melbourne. Well, we're clearly not. Well, could be. Looks like, by the way, next race visit for me is going to be in a couple of weeks to Madrid for Formula E. So looks like we're going to be down at Formula E and do some cool stuff there. Also potentially do some cool stuff with the motorbikes. Again, I think a lot of this, I have to be honest, I think a lot of this is really helped by everyone who voted for this Creator of the Year nomination. I think it showed that we're real and we exist. So if you're not aware, Kimi Antonelli's had a massive crash through turn 1 in free practice 3. Completely destroyed the rear of the car. One of the tyres came off. Fairly innocuous crash in terms of the loss of control, but the consequences are really severe. And Toto Wolff visibly really frustrated, and Toto Wolff sometimes can look at things to be a little bit passive. So I think he knows that they've got a really good car at the moment. Obviously they're benefiting from the way compression ratios are tested right now because they're kind of cheating. That loophole's going to be closed, I think, in June now. So they want to accrue as many points as they can at this point in the season. But Kimi Antonelli, I'm not sure that car's going to be fixed because of things like cost caps. They can't just have a spare car for him to jump into. That's what they would have done back in the day. Team minus 35 minutes, there we go. Welcome Yolanda Vestig as well, good to see you as well. What's the weather saying in Melbourne right now? Looks to be sunny. we also saw the impact, but not what led to it. Yeah, I don't actually know if it was some kind of again, something with the recharge being aggressive, and they've actually made a last-minute change to the way the active aero works as well. And there's been a lot of clips online kind of memeing the way the cars are slowing down in the straights. Now, I did notice in FP1, even though they weren't the quickest, I was looking at onboards on the Mercedes, and the Mercedes just looks an absolute dream to drive. It just looks incredible to drive, and I think they can push that car quite a bit faster. Chai says 20 degrees cloudy. Okay, so maybe slightly lower track temp. I think we had some people in Melbourne for the FP1 stream, so hopefully we'll be able to get some. Yeah, the nice thing about doing the thing in Discord, although it does feel more closed, as someone said, like, don't have Discord, you can just post images in there, which is quite interesting. Maybe YouTube will allow that in the future. Wayne, I can say, oh, there we go. Wayne, I can say it's very cloudy, 40 minutes away from the track. How's the traffic and stuff? Is it a massive, massive local event, like everyone's talking about it? Or could you, if you didn't know about it, could you miss it? Yeah, I think the Mercedes does look quite good as well, although I thought it was Adidas on the side. Yeah, the car is, the rear of the car is completely destroyed. He might have already gone through a gearbox. And most of a power unit as well. So, I mean, that really does show, like, the massive consequences for small mistakes in Formula 1. And that actually could be a bit of an indication of how the season's going to go, with drivers making little mistakes. Oscar Piastri's been doing a ton of promo. Driving a Mustang. Driving a Ford. Interestingly. Guitar Hero Freak. Cheers from Canada. Midnight Star. Okay, Midnight's not too bad. Midnight's not too bad. Yeah, Oscar Piastri been doing some promo and driving a Mustang. Driving a Ford Mustang. Could he be moving to Red Bull Ford in the future? The traffic's shocking this time of year. Can you kind of visit the park grounds? Or is it all locked off? Yeah, race will start top of the hour. Who else looked good in FP3? Well, yeah, Hajar's been looking pretty decent in free practice. Lando Norris hasn't... Well, actually, Piastri was quickest in FP2. So McLaren have shown that pace, but I think Norris hasn't been like a flawless start. In fact, he didn't do many laps at all in FP1. He did about 3 laps, as they had to fix something. The interesting is when they get reporters in to do features with F1 drivers, and F1 drivers drive fast cars on track, and they put reporters on the side. If there's if on the media day the F1 driver bins it, that footage will never see the light of day. Like, no one would ever know. Oh, just finished the poster. Very nice. Post that in the Discord if you've got it. I'm super excited. Anyone who's also going to watch the footage, got to watch out for that on stream. We've got to screenshot it. That's a legendary moment. That's channel history in the making right there. Danny Ricciardo was doing some Ford promos. Yeah, is Ricciardo kind of being pushed around here from a promo perspective? Michael says all fenced off a week prior to racing. I kind of wish like there was more. So if anyone goes to Monaco, you can sit on the hill. You do have to pay for the hill, but it's normally a lot cheaper. And they do pack out the hill. Like, that hill is over capacity, I will tell you, having sat on it quite a few times. But at least you do feel like you get that feeling that you're looking down on something that's exclusive, but you can still see it. You just need binoculars. I would like if more circuits were in bowls like that, where you could like camp out in the mountains with the telescope. Would be pretty cool. Blacker got disconnected. Hopefully no more disconnect issues. Michael says you can drive on the track, walk, ride a bike when the Grand Prix isn't on. I imagine that's fun to do a cycle route. I've done that at Catalonia. I've done cycle to Barcelona and then cycle the track. And you realise that if little inclines that you would never notice when you watch Formula 1 are quite pronounced when you're walking or cycling. It's very interesting to walk or cycle a track. It's a completely different pace to what you do in the car, but that doesn't change the fact that the elevation is the same. But the way you experience it is very different. So it's very helpful to do a track walk. Welcome, Professor Logic. Good to see you again. Freddie, how do you have all the times? We got the times. We should have some more stuff as well. Yeah, it was a big crash for Kimi. Michael, Audi were apparently doing promo on the track about 20 minutes away from the Grand Prix. And we're using green screens to make it look... Oh, using some technology there. Let's keep looking at the drivers here, because you see Bortoletto again has been looking really strong in the Audi, I have to say. And Lindblad may have been faster than Lawson in every session. But you can see that there's a big spread here. 5 seconds is the spread in qualifying. That's not including Sainz or Stroll there. Jupiter feels bad for Kimi. Does anyone feel bad for Kimi, or anyone's like, that's just not good enough? Like, you can't afford to do that at this point in the season. How do we feel about Kimi's crash? Well, about a week before the weekend, I usually go and get photos of my car of start line. Very nice. What car are we talking there? Thanks, Nope. Thanks, Flatka. Yeah, bright and early. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close my blind. Because if I don't close my blind, I won't know that it's daytime. That was helped by Vlatka saying bright and early. I was like, I kind of don't want it to be bright. Control about to go back and print out the poster, worried it won't get shown because I'm going to get general admission. No, they'll show general admission for sure. They love showing general admission because they want to like make it as accessible as possible. George almost a second up on used tyres. Yeah, I think the Mercedes race pace as well. It's pretty scary. Duck says, nah. Yolanda, FP3 was messy. It started with a 20-minute delay. Sainz's car gave up at the lane to the pit. Red flag after that big crash for Kimi, and red flag again. Yes, okay, so a very interrupted session. Yeah, so Kimi had a massive crash in FP3. The rear of the car is completely destroyed. My hunch is that they're not going to get it ready for qualifying. That's my hunch, having seen similar crashes and when people do get it ready or not for qualifying. Waiting to the Mitsubishi Verada, Magna Diamante. Not familiar with those cars. What's the light goal today? I think 500. Honestly, I think 500 today. Jupe says Lando sucks. How can you say the world champion sucks? Surely that's too harsh, saying that the world champion sucks. The rear wing looked like, what, because it got completely detached? You have to think that that gearbox is not going to be race ready. So you might be behind it as well in terms of the pool of parts he has available. Duck about to finish work, so I wish you a great stream. Hope it goes well. Thanks, Duck. Appreciate it. 55 months membership we saw yesterday. Absolutely unreal. Unreal dedication. What a contrast. 55 months with Quatched Up membership and Alan first time in. Love to see it. Both ends. Michael Lewis, you take a miracle to have Antonelli on track in time. Car was absolutely totaled. If they get that car out on track, you have to give massive credit to the Mercedes mechanics. As I see George Russell just making his way to the pits. Let's see what the Aston Martins... There's a chance. This is the last chance because, like I said, the music stops now because now it gets real. Nothing before actually matters. When you think about it, literally nothing before counts for anything. This is the only time it's actually going to start counting for points because where you qualify affects how many points you can get. So there could be some legendary sandbagging from Aston Martin here, like generational sandbagging. I mean, Jupiter says the Aston Martin car is about to explode, or we're talking the biggest sandbagging we've ever seen in history. Professor saying, I wonder if Ferrari was sandbagging. And to see there's a lot of sponsors in Aston Martin. Aramco's a massive sponsor. Cognizant, still don't know what they do. Boss, JCB, Valvoline. And one of them's so small I literally can't see. They've almost deliberately made the logo so small for them to point out they haven't paid enough money. There's a lot of sponsors who might be a bit embarrassed about this. I don't have Discord. Is there a fan mail email? Probably an email in description, I would say. Alan, I say if Aston Martin was sandbagging, and actually came out as a go, I would donate 5. What? If they're not sandbagging, you have to donate 5 to them. I'm looking at Lawrence Stroll now. He doesn't need any donations. Frankly, he needs to be a bit more involved maybe in the running of the team. It sounds like Honda basically promised an engine. Well, this is Aston Martin are making it sound like Honda promised an engine, and then they basically did nothing. And then Aston turned up in Japan November last year and realised there's no engine, which is quite funny. I mean, it wouldn't be modern Formula 1 without a team throwing Honda under the bus and Honda just kind of sitting there. Professor, I got a feeling that the Honda issues are real. GP2 engine, maybe that's the answer. Put the F2 engine in there, see what happens. Put the Mechachrome in. Alan said, honestly, Aston Martin would be better about both roles. I've been making content on this. I don't think I think Lawrence Stroll owns Aston Martin, the actual car company, which in the scheme of things is kind of more important than Aston Martin, the Formula 1 team, which is kind of like a license. And if Lawrence Stroll pulls out of owning Aston Martin, the road team, so the road car business, that business might not work in today's climate. We saw Porsche make $1 billion loss, for example. So if Lawrence Stroll gets fed up with this whole circus, wants to move on, thinks it's not worth it, had his fun, I think it's disastrous for Aston Martin, the car company, which in the scheme of things I think is more important. That's my view on it. Due to loves Lance Stroll. Michael Owusu wasn't expecting Aston to be top 4, but this is wild how far off the mark. Yeah, rumours saying they're already looking at Audi. They're looking at the Audi engine. Is it possible to see a mid-season engine swap? You would assume not, given how complicated that is and how the chassis needs to accommodate it and other various things, but has there been a race team in the past that's just spotted the best engine and a couple of races in and said, yeah, I'll bolt that to the back, please? Welcome, Koenigsegg. And I think Stroll's to step away from the F1 part. Yeah, but that's the thing. He won't step away from just the F1 part. That's the reality. That's what I'm trying to say. If Lawrence Stroll bins off the F1 team, someone will buy the F1 team because it's a franchise thing, essentially. They don't call it that, but it is. But he'll also step away from the road car side. He only has the road car side, I think, for the F1 team, really. I don't think he's not really a car dude, is he? Business. But let me know your thoughts on that. Chaya, with the issues mentioned at Aston Martin, I feel like I've been a little bit ahead of the curve on Aston Martin. I've been saying for a long time this season's going to be really bad for them. Like no one's ready for how bad this is going to be. and I can't remember a team of that stature having this level of problems. Yeah, he's a fashion dude. Guitar Hero Freak, if Strolls are forced out, then the Aston Martin name would likely leave with them. I think there's two things that are true there. I think if Lawrence Stroll leaves, I don't think the team will be called Aston Martin. It'll be bought by someone else. You know, you look at what's going on in F1 Academy. We've got a Hello Kitty team and stuff like that. You know, there's plenty of brands that would love to have an F1 team at the right price, obviously. I think we're going to see the incident with Kimi here. Yeah, it goes all over the curb in turn 2. The Aston Martin cars are kind of dangerous. What's going to be interesting in qualifying, I'm very interested, is that I've been concerned for the last few years, and it's had flashpoints at times, like particularly Monza a couple of years ago, about how in Q1 it's been very dangerous with the lap traffic or slow cars. And Formula 1 last year made a good step, I think, in basically restricting how everyone comes out of the pit lane, but they've got lucky. Here it's going to be much more of a mess and unpredictable, so I wouldn't be surprised, A, if some people miss runs because they get the timing wrong and it all concertinas over the last few corners, and B, there's going to be some near misses with cars getting out the way and derating. Then you turn down the full sweep back. Yeah, they're running a 39 Newton meter. Welcome back, Gina Kim. George looking pretty confident. Yeah, I think Kimi will miss qualifying. I'm surprised I haven't seen more images of what's going on in that car in the garage. But I'd be very surprised if they're able to fix it. I think there's quite big consequences there for the season as well, because he might have used up some parts. Alan says Formula 1 teams have swapped engine suppliers mid-season. Got any examples? Sam's Lee, I spoke with Thrustmaster about load up and upgrade. They still be releasing before July. Well, the latest I've heard is Q1. Obviously, I made the video yesterday, which wasn't as popular as I thought it would be. I thought, because I wasn't going to release that video. I recorded a few videos when I went to see Thrustmaster and their load cell pedal. I've already released a couple, but I thought, as it hasn't come out and so many people ask about it, I'll edit another video on it. Because people will just be interested just to keep abreast of what's going on, but it really hasn't done that well if you look at the views. So wonder if Thrustmaster have kind of missed a bit of a boat here, or the video's not very good. Will Kimi appear in qualifiers? Ali Hussein says, I don't think so. There goes a Hello Kitty of Alfonso. Yeah, Alfonso is going to maybe win the championship for Hello Kitty. I mean, it sounds strange, but Schumacher won for Benetton. And Max Verstappen won for a energy drink company. Nice one, Control 1993. Hopefully we see you with the poster. It'll be a legendary moment. Michael Owusu's 6 driver drop zone for Q1 and Q2. Yeah, thanks for the update there. We're used to 5, but now it's going to be 6 for Q1 and Q2. And still a top 10 shootout. Sam C, I think that took too long. Yeah. I also think, to be honest with you, and I think you have a T598, I'm guessing, but they've waited so long that I think a lot of people who were thinking about getting a T598 with load cell have just gone out and got an RS50. That's the brutal truth. Not something I can officially talk about, but if you look at the forums, you will have seen that there was something leaked over the last few days, which has been long requested. Welcome, Woot Woosh. As a new sim racer, I've learnt a lot from your channel. Thank you. It's going to be... very nice. Yeah, important to connect the real racing to the sim racing. It's not something I've talked about on the F1 streams yet, but I am doing this year. I am doing the first ever, we think, sim racing track days. So we are going to be racing, well, we're going to be doing track days in the UK. It's not technically racing. So I'm going to be going with my car. I'm going to be going with the RCZ. We're going to be modifying the RCZ and going to tracks like Brands Hatch and we're going to be doing a sim racer track day at Castle Combe in the UK. So everyone in the community in the UK, or people who want to drive in from Europe, we are going to be we booked out a track. So the track is booked out, and it's going to be open to sim racers. We're going to have some companies down there with sim rigs and whatnot. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be great. So fingers crossed we can sell that out. It's looking like it's going to be something like maybe £190 for the day. That's the just the entry and everything. Like, that's the cost. And then it's a whole day at the track. Obviously, it's bring. Well, I say obviously it's bring your own car, but we should have companies there also doing hot laps. And also, I'm trying to get that ticket price to include a passenger as well. It's not a. I won't be making any money from it. Just to be clear, like, that's just the price that the track have said. Yeah, very excited about that. In fact, I might go down next week to the track to start creating some content there. Remember Lola MasterCard? Yeah, but Lola MasterCard were a bit of a joke budget team, weren't they? Where Aston Martin aren't. Cadillac have got things covering. No, sorry, Mercedes. It's Mercedes. Mercedes are completely covered the garage, Kimi side of the garage, with barriers. So they don't want to give the game away. I guess it's they can retain the information on whether that car's going to be ready, and their competitors will have to guess. Lotus 96 Cosworth to Renault. Okay. Try a Dutch live blog. Mercedes will work on Kimi's car. If you can't start, it's automatic pit lane tomorrow. Okay, let's see. They've completely barried it off. So we will see. Work is being done on it. How's Project Motor Racing going these days? I mean, I drive from time to time. I think it's fundamentally a similar game. Like, that's the thing. They probably need to completely refresh the UI even just to make it seem different, I'd say. No. I mean, if it was going to be something I was going to do for profit, then I'd have to price it higher, and it'd be a lot more stressful. But this is basically like an at-cost thing to see if we can do a sim racing track day. And it also, because it's like that, I don't risk losing money either. Because if it was going to be like a for-profit thing, I would need to pay to book out the track, and then hopefully sell enough tickets to make. But it's not that kind of thing at all. It's like I'm not at risk of losing money or making money on this. Just hopefully it just kind of works. It's good fun. Alan Dang, I wish I was in the UK for that. Well, maybe there's a chance we can go international with it if it does work. Because I want to have like sim rigs at the track. I want to do some practice sessions before in sim and stuff like that. Black would love to be there. Maybe we'll do some European ones. Control, I'll be wearing the 2025 Piastri Phantom jersey. Okay, so everyone's got to keep an eye for that. If anyone's got pictures, the chat, we got a poster with the channel shoutouts. Let's see. Ricky Mary says, hope Hadjar does decent. The second seat, hey, Hadjar's looking pretty good in that second seat. As good as anyone yet. But as we've seen from Kimi's crash, you're only one little moment from putting it in the wall. Welcome Crazy, hey, good to see you. Morning bro, sat in truck in Cyprus watching on the phone. Very nice. We're going to get underway pretty soon, I think. Yeah, 9 minutes. 9 minutes to go till the first qualifying session. Alan thinks Hadjar will do alright. Let's do a little bit of a nations check. Let's just do a cheeky early nations check here. So let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Yeah, drivers are getting ready. Is Fernando Alfonso going to be in there? We will see. We will see. Welcome Lord Fiskers of Floofyberg as well. Good to have you. Good to have a Lord in the chat. So Chaya, Netherlands, Professor US, Vlatka Cracer, Michael Lewis, Australia. Gary Merce, Australia as well. Welcome Bamps, MT, Indianapolis, Carl, US, Iowa, Yolanda from the Netherlands. Crazy 8 Brit in Cyprus, Sam Vicente from Portugal, Alan from Kansas, Lord Whiskers England, Sam Sturt from London, Martin Netherlands, Jupiter from Argentina. Do we have a Colapinto fan? Oh, and actually, believe it or not, I think that Mercedes, there's a chance it might be fixed. There's a chance it might be fixed. Because the front suspension looks like it's all on and being checked. I mean, that wasn't where the damage was, but... Sergio Perez is putting his helmet on. Looks pretty similar to the one I've got here, actually. Gone back to his old school style, I think. Guitar from Canada. The post is going to be A3. They ran out of A2. That's okay. That's okay. A3 is still pretty big. I'm not going to lie, I'm here because I'm too bright for Apple TV. Yeah, it was the rear of the car, which I couldn't quite see, but it looked, from facial expressions on the mechanics, it looks like they've been clearly set a task to get it ready for qualifying. 5 AM for Sam. Monster watching from Queensland. Alan, you're the best. Oh, thanks, Alan. Make sure to hit that like button as well, then. Ugh. Where is it? Down there. Want to try and get to 500 likes today. Cold Beans can hear the jets. They're doing the fly past. 6 AM in Netherlands. 6 AM's not too bad. That's pretty good. It's Japan, isn't it? Japan is the one. Japan and Vegas. Vegas is such a weird time zone. Because Vegas feels like a really big build-up, so you kind of want to be there for the build-up. But we're going to get underway very, very, very soon. You might see some of the cars already, engines just being turned on. What's your opinion on Red Bull right now? We're going to find out, because let's see where Max can put his car. But my hunch is that George Russell's going to get pole position here. My feeling is Russell's going to get pole position. But let me know in the chat what you think. Thanks, San Vicente. Anyone disagree? Well, contended from Korea as well. Anyone disagree with Russell on pole? Imagine one of the Audis gets it. The Audis are looking quietly confident. Obviously, could be a Piastri pole as well. Yeah, right. So in the Mercedes garage, maybe there's a rule that certain time before you can't block off the front. That's not the spirit of what Formula 1 want to show. They want the images to see. Sam would love to see a Ferrari on pole. Chat, let me know who you want to see. Get pole position today. First 22 car qualifying for a long time as well. Guitar, shout out to Eastern Time Zone, yeah. Big W if you're in ET. Chai says, honestly, everyone has a chance. I can't say like in 2023 Verstappen's going to get a pole on the win. Sang Dow says, I want Leclerc or Hamilton. Yeah, in fact, not a lot of people saying Hamilton in chat today. We had a lot of people yesterday. Crit says, the post says Piastri rules on top and has self-background removed, picture in the middle, and underneath says sub to Kireth. That's for tomorrow, right? Because it's a bit late for qualifying today. So I'm guessing that's tomorrow. Professor, I think Max and Lewis have a continuation in 2021. And Lewis will win at Abu Dhabi. Imagine the poetry there. Imagine the poetry. Yeah, Lewis has been looking confident after some rough times last season. Will the folding wing make an appearance here? Vicky says, I think Lewis is going to be best to that. Lewis had an amazing race practice start. Yeah, the race practice start was messy again. I think Formula 1 are a bit worried they're going to be embarrassed about the race start tomorrow. Chai hopes Lewis is going to have a better season. Jupiter wants Charles to win. He deserves it. Are we ready for actual Ferrari domination? Are we prepared for that mentally? What would be incredible is if Ferrari start the season strong, but then other teams catch up and they really have to consolidate their lead and make very good strategic decisions. How much time left for starting? Just a couple of minutes, honestly. Yeah, what if Kimi gets pole here? What a story that would be. I think it's incredible, by the way, that that car was in bits. It's basically just a load of bolts and pieces of car. Now they're putting it all together, and then he's gonna drive it to the absolute limit and have complete faith that nothing's gonna fall off. You get very close to the barriers here at Melbourne. There we go, Chai's got the tyres for today. Ferrari domination could bore people. So I think at the beginning it won't bore anyone. It's funny, we've gone through the looking glass here because Ferrari domination did genuinely used to bore people. But now we'd be ready for it. But if it happens, we will get bored again. Only 20 degrees. Only 20 degrees in Melbourne today. Feels quite cold. Track temp 37. Vegan time hopes for Max. So we're surely going to see cars exit the pit lane very soon because there's just 2 minutes to go. And I imagine some cars might want to queue at the front. And will we see cars kind of do just a lot of repetitive runs actually in Q1 rather than doing the structured way we've seen previously? It'll be an 18-minute Q1 session. Let me know in chat, does anyone need an explanation of how qualifying is going to work? Let me know if you need an explanation, I can give it. Yeah, it does look overcast now. I don't think... Well, humidity 60%. I think it's very unlikely to rain, but we've got people in the chat in Melbourne. So we'll see. Thanks, Sang Dao. Arthur said, RIP F1 Gamer. What's happened there? What's gone on there? Okay, cars are on track. So the way this is going to work is that we're going to have 18 minutes of the first part of qualifying where the cars are going to go around and try and set their fastest lap. And at the end of the 18 minutes, we'll see what lap times are being completed, and the bottom 6 drivers are going to be knocked out. After that, they're going to be another session, which is going to be 15 minutes long, which is going to be Q2. And then we're going to see who sets the 10 fastest lap times. And they will go through into Q3, and Q3 is a top 10 shootout. And everyone will set their fastest times, and whoever gets the fast time there will be in pole position. And then throughout those sessions, the grid will be completed for tomorrow. Yeah, qualifying is underway, everyone. Qualifying is officially underway. First qualifying of the season. I think we should give a round of applause. Everyone just give a clap in the comments. Let's just give ourselves a round of applause. And I'm going to do a dab for making it for the first qualifying of the year. Give yourself a round of applause, everyone. I think it was Peter saying he's at a track and it's getting cooler. Indicative of potential rain? Surely not. So, Nico Hulkenberg. The icon is red, but the car is actually very grey, which is a bit confusing. Is going to be first out, and there's going to be a lot of congestion here. To give an example, you can see Nico Hulkenberg is already on, barreling through the back straight. And mentally, where Nico Hulkenberg is now, like turn 9, turn 10, I associate that with very much at the end of the lap at Melbourne. I don't know if anyone's the same. When I'm doing this in sim, I'm near the end. And there's still a ton of cars that need to come out of the pit lane. So this year, you're going to have the concertina effect of the traffic is going to be compounded. So Hulkenberg's going around now to actually start a lap. So Hulkenberg's going to start a flying lap. And Lando Norris is just coming out of the pits. Oscar Piastri will surely be behind him, yes. Oh, thanks Dark Cloud for the membership. Thanks everyone. Please get some more claps for Dark Cloud there. I'm going to give a goal. Thank you so much for joining. And that's at DRS level as well. That's a big membership. Thanks Dark Cloud for joining at DRS. got access to the emojis as well. In fact, if someone's feeling Tifosi this year, there you go, you got the Tifosi. Yeah, Angelo Bog say world champion Norris coming out. Alan saying, I hope Alfonso doesn't die. Yes. Very good. Alfonso is out on circuit at the moment in the Aston Martin. And Kimi Antonelli, I don't know what's going on yet, but they have a little bit more time. Arguably, they have 10 minutes. And maybe they know that it's really worth pushing this to the wire, because it seems that Mercedes is quick enough. It should be fairly trivial for Antonelli to actually progress into Q2, as I explained earlier. So you can see Hulkenberg here is on a fast lap. Just seeing if is Albon on a fast lap as well? Yeah, Albon's on a fast lap as well, I believe. So Hulkenberg's aborted then. So Hulkenberg has aborted that lap. And I think Albon might be the first driver who's going to complete a lap here then. So it must have been a mistake for Hulkenberg, or decided to abort. Maybe there was some sort of issue. The first flying lap, I believe, if I'm getting this right, is going to be Alex Albon with a 121.8, which it is. And Hulkenberg doesn't box, he decides to go again. But now he's got Esteban Ocon behind him, who has just finished a flying lap. Okay, but is Ocon, are they going to do back-to-back laps? This is what I'm asking. Looks like Albon is not doing a back-to-back lap, so maybe that isn't going to be the case. Behrman, meanwhile, is provisionally fastest and really slows down ahead of turn 1 to let Oscar Piastri through, and also potentially Hamilton and Colapinto through. So after setting the provisionally fastest time, he slams on the brakes there because of traffic. There's just so much traffic. Meanwhile, Ocon's in P3. I wouldn't worry too much about the Alpines here. I don't think the Alpines are going to get out of Q1, to be honest. Frankly, I'd be shocked if the Alpines get out. Professor saying 118s are definitely possible. Ben, why do some teams prefer higher rake setups, others prefer low rake? It's a whole philosophy of the car, really. That dictates basically the whole way the airflow works over the car. Oh my goodness, huge slide for Norris. We're seeing, feels like slightly less downforce this year. I think because the way the front wings are working, the front wings are narrower, so they don't cover the width of the tyres. Probably one of the most distinctive things about the cars this year. I think it does make them look a bit more pointed and focused, personally. Blacker, can I explain qualifying? Okay, so we're in Q1 at the moment. This is the first part of qualifying. What qualifying is, actually, is that the day before the race in Formula 1, the drivers set their fastest times to set the order that they will start the race tomorrow. So right now they're setting lap times, and this will set the order for the race tomorrow. And these days in Formula 1 it's split into 3 parts, Q1, Q2, Q3. We're doing Q1 at the moment. The main thing is you want to keep an eye out for is that the bottom 6 cars are going to get knocked out. So keep an eye who's in the bottom 6. Now personally, I think it's going to be both Aston Martins. Well, I was going to say possibly both Williams. Let's see. And then Kimi Antonelli will take up one of those slots if he doesn't get out. So also keep an eye and see if Kimi Antonelli does actually just come out of the pits or not. Lindblad, yeah, Bortoletto now lead 120.4, so the lap time's coming down, but the drivers are easing into it. And something that I think no one's noticed in the chat yet, but very interestingly, Max Verstappen has not exited the pits. So Max Verstappen is just chilling in the pits at the moment, which is interesting. I would also say, my hunch is that there's a much higher chance than usual of a red flag in this qualifying session. For just a mechanical issue. I think we had red flags in all 3 practices. So there's something to be said for just getting a lap time down. Because if a red flag happens with 2 minutes to go, then there won't be enough time for everyone to get out and actually set a lap time. Hamilton decent on mediums. Yeah, good spot there. Hamilton setting that lap time on mediums in the Ferrari. Looking good. Welcome Zone, Wesley, Jamali, Jose Maestra, Kushan and Tommy K. Please do hit the like button wherever. Oh my god. And please do subscribe as well. We actually do watch-alongs where we actually have live footage. We did Motor America early today at Daytona where we had the live footage as part of this, which is really cool. So your support makes that happen. So George Russell, I was just looking on board, looks absolutely rapid. That car looks planted as it's looked since turn 1. Steering wheel also pretty much the same as it's been. So I think this is essentially also this year's steering wheel. That's what George Russell might be taking to glory. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure on the tyre allocation. I've got to be honest, actually. I'm not sure if anything's changed there this year. Okay, so 10 minutes to go. Verstappen's still in the pits, by the way. No time for Verstappen. And Carlos Sainz also in the pits. Gina, what is sandbagging? Sandbagging is basically because, in fact, just to interrupt, Kimi Antonelli is helmet on, hands device on, looking at his car. It looks like Mercedes are going to try and get that ready. He's standing by the car. So sandbagging, because this is the first time that this actually counts for anything, this Formula 1 season. There's been quite a lot of testing and free practice before this with these cars. That stuff hasn't actually counted for anything. So sandbagging is when the teams might run a little bit slow because they don't want to show other teams how fast they are. But this is when we'll start to see it. And so, for example, George Russell is 0.6 faster than everyone else. And Mercedes might well have that engine turned down. Because if you're too fast, the worry is that the FIA will go, well, that's going to be a bit boring. We'll penalise you to make you a bit slower. And we definitely saw this with Mercedes back in the past, because when Rosberg and Hamilton actually used to race each other, you might remember in this helmet, they would often reveal the true pace of the car. Now, I think Verstappen is about to leave the pit lane. Yeah, Verstappen is out. Max Verstappen is out. In his Red Bull Ford. Got the EcoBoost in there. Thanks, ZF Morgs. Appreciate it, my friend. Snowy, do you think Russell will be in the title fight? Russell is a lot of people's favourite for the championship. I would just keep an eye on what Verstappen does here. Just keep an eye on Verstappen. And also, it looks like Lance Stroll is not going out. Maybe Aston Martin are just doing a symbolic lap with one of their drivers so their car can appear in the photos for qualifying and they don't breach any agreements with sponsors, technically. Because maybe if neither car comes out, they need to pay their sponsors back a big chunk of money. I'm not sure. Book is new to this F1 world, not sure where to focus. Just focus, honestly, my tip is, if you're new to Formula 1, this goes for anyone new here, just focus on the bottom 6 drivers. So look at the standings and just see who's in the bottom 6. And we're thinking Antonelli might not get out, and if he doesn't get out, that will take up one of them. Meanwhile, Piastri has gone P2, 4/10 off Russell though, and Lindblad continues his great form in the Racing Bulls this Australian weekend, going P3. And frankly, Lindblad is making Lawson look a little bit average here. Charles Leclerc goes second, again on the mediums. Welcome, Maribel. Hopefully you've seen, yes, we're in the McLaren top here. No, P17 to 22 is a knockout. That's the bottom 6 drivers. Verstappen, red flag. I've got Verstappen, stop. We got a red flag, and Verstappen says stop. What's happened here? Put your red flag emojis in the chat. What's happened to cause the red flag? It says Verstappen, stop. This would be absolutely sensational if Verstappen's... Oh my god, yes. Oh my goodness me. Is that Verstappen? It's either Verstappen or Hadjar. It's either Verstappen or Hadjar has gone bouncing. It's the number 3 of Verstappen. He's not the 33 this year, he's a 3. Verstappen is out. This is huge. Verstappen, I'm going to put my hands up. In FP1 yesterday, I said he's my tip for the title. I said don't rule out Verstappen. Now it looks like the Mercedes were actually sandbagging. Verstappen is out of qualifying. He went flying across the gravel. I don't even know what corner it is because it's quite an unusual place to crash. So whether this is a mechanical, and this is fantastic news for the Mercedes team, they have the car up on jacks with Kimi in it. So this makes it easier for Mercedes to get Kimi. So the balance of power here has shifted in one moment. From, oh, is it turn 1? Is it turn 1? But is he completely lost the rear and gone straight? Has he completely lost the rear and gone straight? Is the rear axle locked? Yes! Yes, he has! It's turn 1, but he's gone straight. We see he's only crashed at turn 1. But normally it's where Kimi crashed and you go up to the right hand side. Here it looks like he's locked the rears, maybe. My guess is he's locked the rears. So whether it's a mechanical as the car begins to charge, the hybrid system, I'm not sure. But Verstappen locked the rears and has gone across the gravel, skimming the gravel. And he's lucky he hasn't dug in like Fernando Alonso did a few years ago. If you remember that slow-mo footage of Alonso going upside down. It's basically like that, and Verstappen's very lucky that the car didn't dig in and rotate. And Max saying, confirming the car just locked on the rear axles. That's what I see. From my racing experience, obviously, that looks like one where you've locked the rear and you're just like, oh no. Yeah, so not a front lock-up, and Max stretching his wrist as he gets out. Yeah, Max looking at his wrist. So saying all okay, but shaking his wrist. So that car is going to be recovered. It is already... No, sorry. I don't know why it's saying yellow flag. We are still under red flag. So this will give more time. The timer is paused. I did predict there was going to be a red flag in this session. But I didn't think it was going to be Max. Professor saying he might have messed up the wrists. Gina, what does it mean when a car locks? Basically, when you're decelerating in either a kart or a car, you apply the brakes, but you want the wheels to be decelerating. You want to be using the tyre's grip to help you decelerate. If basically you lock the rear tires, they stop rotating. You end up skidding on the rubber, and you're not using the brakes effectively actually. So what can happen is when you lock the rears and as you turn in, it also changes the balance of the car and then you spin the car. So that's as best as I can do it in layman's terms. If I kind of show you guys here, so as you're on the wheel and then as you're turning in, so you're braking and turning in, which would be trail braking, you lock the rears, suddenly with that little bit of input of the way the car's loaded, actually it will all come around. You could try and catch it, but it's just you're not going to be able to. So bad news there for Max Verstappen. It can also happen, we see it in, say, like Formula E. Sometimes I have issues with the hybrid no, that's not hybrid, with the battery regeneration. That's also on the front axle. But here there's no front axle regen, is there? It's all on the rear. So there's a lot going on the rear, and it could be a mechanical issue. Aston sandbagging, I thought they're 5 seconds behind. Well, we'll see, because Russell's still going to get faster. FG says you're shifting down to get engine brake support. No, yeah, but that wouldn't necessarily result in you locking the rears, obviously. Gina, seems like Max hadn't had any luck with that car. Right, Kimi Antonelli is in. Max Verstappen is on a motorbike going back to the paddock. It says track clear. We'll get a notification about when they're going to resume. It's 4:19 local time, so in 4 minutes. And Kimi Antonelli is going to participate in here. Fresh says front is mechanical, rears are kinetic. Michael says front axle regen will fix all these issues. Yeah, front axle regen and front axle deploy would be interesting. They need a four-wheel drive as well, which actually is what Formula E do this year with the Evo cars. They do go all-wheel drive when they do their attack mode because they've got massive battery compared to Formula 1. So Max, just to explain, Max went into the gravel backwards. Vision says Max would never make a mistake like that, so I'm inclined to believe that it's mechanical. There's something with the car connected to the drivetrain on the rears. I mean, what's way more common you see at turn 1 is someone brakes too late and they lock the fronts with driver error. And often when you see the rears locked like that, it's often something to do with the car. Yeah, Angel's saying if the rear's locked, it's mechanical. So Max going into the gravel backwards, which again kind of would probably be for the best, because if he'd gone in sideways, the floor could have dug in. And Kimi Antonelli is leaving the pits, but has almost crashed into a Williams, and the mechanics are actually pushing him back, which I'm not entirely sure is legal. We'll have to see. But there's a mechanic stood out there in the pit lane in front of Kimi's car, which I haven't seen before, and he's also adjusting Kimi's mirror. He's taking a sticker off Kimi's mirror. It looks pretty amateur from Mercedes here. They're also cooling the car with fans in the pit lane. So there's a lot of concern about Kimi's car, but a bit harsh on the mechanics. So great job by the mechanics, basically, to get that car ready. Yeah, Kimi's in the queue. I mean, the state that car was in after FP3 not that long ago is pretty incredible. They've got it ready. So the session's going to start in 2 minutes, and a load of cars are queued up in the pits. Meanwhile, Kimi is just kind of sat in his, just outside his pit box, and they're cooling the car. Pretty incredible job. Certainly better than my quick fit. How they've managed to put that together. Don't know if anyone remembers Alex Albon at Baku last year, when they let him out the pits with the fans in the top of the car. Hopefully they haven't forgotten to take everything out. Yolanda saying they did an amazing job to get that car fixed already. So Edmog saying everyone's saying these cars have had to be driven differently. Maybe he's gone to autopilot and tried to drive his usual style. What's interesting from Max, I would say, and we noted this, is that he didn't come out until very late in the session, and the other drivers have eased into the session, whereas Max kind of came out late, tried to do a lap time pretty much straight away, and didn't even get into turn 1, let's be honest. So maybe the strategy also contributed to that. Well, as it stands, Verstappen is going to be starting from last tomorrow. I think someone said it's raining north of the track. Don't know if anyone can confirm. It does seem to be overcast at the track. Welcome Chan, welcome Hexo, Davindu, Hal, Reevy, John, Kevin, Leon as well. And no one's got pole position yet. This is the first part of qualifying, and you can see it's now resumed. So they paused the clock when the red flag came out. I think it's a tyre barrier at the end of Max hit, so they haven't had to repair it. Professor saying I think it was a recharge here, but they don't control that recharge, though. That's the thing. He's not pressing the button to recharge like the car. That's what the car's doing. So that's, to me, what indicates it could be a mechanical. You have to bear in mind just how much faith the driver has to have in the car. They have to have so much faith in the car they can't even think about it. Like Kimi Antonelli can't be thinking like, oh, I hope they tied the front left suspension together properly. You have to completely forget about that, and you have to go into corners with full commitment. But the reality is, sometimes there is going to be a mechanical issue. You just don't know when it's going to happen, and sometimes it can be tragic, like with Ayrton Senna. Mechanical issue. People went to court over that. I think Adrian Newey went to court in Brazil, if I remember. So it can have disastrous consequences. But Max has walked out. It just looks like his wrists. He's worried about his wrists. We're worried about Fernando Alonso's wrists. Eric says he probably didn't get temp in the tyres in the rear because of the lockup. I'm not sure. It would be an odd one if it was driver error, but Professor says I'm sure there's a quali mode they haven't tried in practice. It could, at the risk of making it sound like trivial, it could be a bit of a software bug. Yeah, so Fernando Alonso is going to out-qualify Verstappen here. So I don't know what the odds were of that. If anyone got those odds. Brother, where's hell's the time left not on the screen? The time left is on the screen. Let me know if you can find it. Challenge. Carl, watch piece earlier today on what drivers are doing to force regen. Like 8 to 9, the drivers are not braking, they're letting the regen. Yeah, exactly. That's stuff that's interesting. And I noted that Arvid Lindblad was at Formula E. I think in maybe it was in Jeddah, which was like the day after the Bahrain F1 test. They do a lot of lifting and coasting in Formula E and using the regen. In fact, interestingly, if you look at a Formula E car, and I've got some videos on this, the brakes on the rear are just bicycle brakes, essentially. There's no actual brake on the rear. because it's the motor that does the deceleration, which does put a lot of stress on that component. So they're definitely not using brakes to slow down. They're using the regen. And that's going to become more of a thing in Formula 1. And maybe there's some drivers that have spent more time in the sim than others. Why is Audi red? I guess that's the colour they've selected for themselves, but the cars are grey. Gary says the car's a lot looser in the front with a small wing. Yeah, that narrow wing at the front. There's less control over the airflow. Less downforce in the front. Michael says Michael Massey went to the Australian Grand Prix a year or two. Special guest, Michael Massey. Okay, so we're underway. Just under 4 minutes to go. Who's in the drop zone right now? Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll's still in the pits. Carlos Sainz in the pits. I haven't heard the official news, but I'm going to guess they're not coming out. So that'll mean that'll be Verstappen, Sainz and Stroll taking 3 of the bottom 3. And then the Cadillacs here, like, this is pretty embarrassing for Cadillac if they can't get out, if they can't do anything faster here, because I think a lot of people have been on the copium of Cadillac saying it's coming Cadillac, and actually they just look really slow, like really slow. This could be embarrassing for Cadillac, and I think if that will be one call that I've got right this season as Bottas comes out of the pits, and Perez as well. But let's see. I've got 3 minutes. I'm either going to look like a genius or an idiot. I look like a genius if they do terribly, because I said they're a new team and I don't think they're going to be up to speed day one. Let's see what happens. One is what will happen if Max is out on quali. Max is out of quali. There's no way Max is going to go through to the next session of qualifying. So he will be starting very much near the back. Yeah, meanwhile Hamilton on the medium tyre, on scrubbed mediums, goes fastest with a 119.8, just 200s faster, but the Oscar Piastri pips him on scrub softs. So now we're seeing lap times come in. Russell with a big Lindblad slipstream goes far, reclaims P1 with a 119.5. Is Lawson on a fast lap? No. What about Gasly? Gasly is not on a fast lap either. So a lot of these drivers queuing up for their fast laps, their fast final laps of Q1, I would say. So a lot of chopping and changing. And by the way, Antonelli out of the blocks has gone P4 with a 120.1. That surely will be enough. He's safe now. He's safe, Antonelli. So that's absolutely fantastic by the Mercedes mechanics. Hopefully they get a little bonus. Yeah, Michael's correct, because the Ferrari's got that small turbo. We think they're going to have fantastic starts as well. Leclerc's in the pits, so Leclerc thinks he's got enough. Hamilton goes in. And keep an eye on Bottas and Perez now. They're going to start these laps. I think Leclerc had to abort his lap, by the way. Actually locked up. So, yeah, Leclerc was not able to improve. Bortoleto in P9. So at the moment, it's looking like Colapinto is the last driver in the drop zone. This would be sensational, because this would mean that Fernando Alonso would be going through into Q2, which probably no one would have predicted. Nice one, Control 1903. Yeah, Toto looks pretty happy here. They've got Kimi's car fixed up and potential banana skin avoided. So keep an eye on Ocon. Let's see if Ocon is going to surprise anyone with the lap that he completes. And also Gasly's right behind him. Ex-teammates. I think Gasly might have aborted. Not sure. And Hadjar as well. Hadjar might have a point to prove, because he's the lone remaining Red Bull. Let's see, Hadjar goes over the line. 120 dead, goes up to P5, half a second off George Russell. Ollie Behrman does not improve, by the way. And Fernando Alonso, is Alonso going to improve? It is a improvement, but does not go past Gasly. So where is Colapinto on circuit? It's done. It's going to be done, because I don't think Colapinto is... Actually, sorry, bear with me. Is Colapinto on a fast lap? He'll have a lot of traffic. If he is, it's all eyes on Colapinto here. If Colapinto's on a fast lap, it's all eyes on him, because it's essentially a knockout between him and Alfonso here. Not sure Colapinto was born when Alfonso first did his first Australian Grand Prix. Why is Norris struggling so much? I don't think it's fair to say he's struggling yet. Let's see. He's done what he needs to do in Q1. So Colapinto is on a fast lap here. And he's getting some nice slipstream as well, potentially. We'll see Ocon get out the way, I'm sure, in between 11 and 12, or before 11 even. There we go. So it's going to be a clean run for Colapinto. 17.8 is not particularly quick compared to Gasly. So let's see. Let's see, is Colapinto going to knock out Alonso? The bottom 6 drivers get knocked out. Currently it's Colapinto, goes over the line. The last driver set a lap time and he goes fastest. Aston Martin are out, absolutely washed. Terrible news. We all predicted it. Colapinto gets it done in the Alpine. So that is the bottom 6 confirmed, everyone. Lance Stroll didn't even get out. Maybe he refused to drive the car. Who knows? Carlos Sainz did not get out. Very embarrassing for Williams because they talked a big game about 26. But as soon as they messed everything up with Barcelona and the safety test and being overweight, my hunch was that, oh no, Williams are washed. Verstappen, maybe too, what's the word, arrogant with the strategy. Carlos Sainz is walking out with his helmet on. I'm not sure why, because you haven't done much in Aston Carlos. Helmets are for drivers that go out on track. You don't need a helmet to sit in the garage. And then the Cadillacs as well. 3.7 off for Bottas, 3 seconds off for Perez. Again, I told you, the music stops. This is where the music stops. Anthony on the radio saying, thank you guys, you're the best. This is where the music stops for Cadillac. Yeah, so the bottom 6 start at the back, and unless there's other penalties that come through, that's going to be the order at the back. I think Verstappen will be ahead of Sainz and Stroll because he actually did he did part of a sector, as you can see. And then Alonso not making it through, and Ollie Behrman just, in some ways, just scraping through. In another way, Alonso was 7/10 off Behrman. Nice one, Control 1903. Dark Cloud saying Max had steering issues during practice 3. Yeah, I think there's going to be, this season, as it often is with this amount of reg change, is really going to be about the teams that can kind of like minimise big issues. Perez, well done guys. I mean, it's been a very tricky start with many problems, but we're getting there. Now we really need to find the pace. Yeah, I think Cadillac are kind of on their own program. I'm getting a happy just to be taking part vibe from Cadillac. I'm going to be honest. And it has been a long road for that team to get on the grid. Bottas, oh, I've never won first quali done. The only way is up. The only way up is one way of putting it, yeah. See some stewards' investigations there. So Cadillac is a modern Minardi. Well, let's see. Maybe they are doing things at their own pace. Meanwhile, there's still frantic work being done on Fernando Alonso's car. So maybe they think that penalties could come through, because Q1 incidents involving Albon, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Bortoleto and Norris will be investigated after the setting. So maybe they're just seeing if there's any potential. I think maybe Aston Martin want as much track time as possible, ironically, to work out different stuff. Fresh saying, I think 3 seconds off for the first Grand Prix isn't too bad. Yeah. So, George Russell setting the pace there. 1.5 tenths clear of Oscar Piastri. So 2 Mercedes-powered cars at the top. Then Lewis Hamilton, but very interestingly on the medium tyre. Lando Norris in 4th. Isaac Hadjar in 5th. So it shows that the Red Bull does have pace. Hadjar half a second off, but it is Q1. Kimi Antonelli getting a lap in, getting that done. I think Kimi Antonelli shows how much pace there is in that Mercedes car. To jump in there when it's just been rebuilt and do that lap time when you probably don't want to ultra risk it for obvious reasons, shows the car's very fast. I'm going to do another nation check, everyone. Let us know. Williams going for 2032 now. Welcome, Caffeine Junkie, new username there. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. Put your country in the chat. Wayne's not sure what's happened to Alfonso. Well, he's out of qualifying. Welcome, Jane, as well. So, Formula 1 Edits USA, Martin Netherlands, ZF Morgan from UK, Jackatap USA, Vlatka Croatia, Aid from Japan, Finja from Germany, Book from India, Vanessa from Zimbabwe, J. Ross Philippines, Igor from Serbia, Yolanda from Netherlands, Catherine from Philippines, Nana from Ghana, Carl from US, Forza from USA, Catherine USA, J. Blink Thailand, Redline USA, Ryan from Melbourne, J. Ross Philippines, Prehistoric London, Eric Canada, CZ Hungary, HRS India, Kaiser Singapore, Bavik India, MT USA, Venkat India. Prosen's in the middle of the ocean. Are you in the Strait of Hormuz? Red Indian, Elite Indian, Forward Zimbabwe, Control Melbourne. Oh my goodness, coming in. Australia. A lot of people supporting Alfonso in the chat. Ali Bangladesh, Eric Canada, Chyla from New Zealand, India, Bobsco London, Johnny New Zealand, Avina Trinidad. Ian says Alfonso man. Yes, indeed. Malaysian and Egypt, India, Philippines. What to Verstappen? Verstappen binned it. I think it was something to do with the car and the rear's locked. So I think something to do with the recharge. I don't say catching Max out, but that shouldn't happen. Like, there should be enough. That's what free practice is for. They should be simulating their doing quali simulations. Brunei, Hungary, Romania, Ireland in the house as well. Max Verstappen, Zambia, Isle of Man, Poland, Philippines, Abu Dhabi, Singapore. We're very well represented globally here today. Even North Korea, Sri Lanka. So all over. Yeah, we got you, Laura, from Romania. Wayne says, go Alfonso, first time on the grid. He is a rookie, as we know. But, as we also know, he's been knocked out. And we're in Q2 now, so there's going to be 15 minutes of qualifying. And if you're new to this, my advice would be, check the top 10. Because the top 10 are going to go through to the final part of qualifying. So you want to be in the top 10 here. Credit to both Alpines for getting through. But I would suggest both Alpines are not going to make it through, with my hunch. So which other 4 cars are going to get knocked out? Are we going to see an Audi in Q3? Potentially. So what about the Hasses? Are the Hasses going to get up there? Are we going to see a big car not get through? North Sentinel Island, Maldives as well. Max will repaste Sao Paulo. Charles says absolute props to Mercedes for getting Kimi out on track. Yeah, imagine if Kimi gets pole here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another red flag in this session, by the way, as the cars are being run to their limits, the engine being run to their limits. In fact, Lando Norris was very slow rolling out the pit lane. Extremely slow. Laura saying Max is cooked. Professor, the moment you're off the gas, you're recharging. The moment you hit the brake, the intensity of the recharge is greater. Basically, just to summarise it, so although previously, we go back a long time in Formula 1 at Melbourne, you would be on the... You start braking in a straight line. Then as you ease off the brake, you start turning in. You start trailing into the corner. Release some of the tyre's grip for cornering, not just for slowing down. What happens now is that you brake in a straight line. As you start to turn in and trail brake, you also have the added variable of the recharge. Trying to recapture energy in trying to charge the battery through the rear axle. That interferes with your trail braking. And, you know, I don't take this the wrong way, but if a driver had just jumped from the cars last year into this year, I'd really expect to see that mistake. So it's pretty astonishing to see Max Verstappen have that issue, because we all assume that Max Verstappen is the best driver. Let's not forget, he was my pick in FP1. I was saying Max Verstappen's my dark horse for this season. What racing wheel is this? This is the Mercedes F1 steering wheel. So this could be the fastest steering wheel in the world this year. Carbon fibre. Ocon in top 3. That's your hope. Well, let's see what happens. Looks like Piastri is going to be one of the first drivers to... or no, did he abort? I'm not quite sure. So it's Charles Leclerc. So that's a 120 dead. In the Ferrari, they are on the softs this time. So Ferrari already able to have an extra pair of softs in the bag. Gina, who would say the most promising out of Audi, Alpine and Haas? Well, it's not Alpine. So at the moment, the answer to your question will be evident in 12 minutes time, I'd say. Because it's going to be between Audi and Haas. Professor, I think trail braking is very difficult this year, but I'm sure we're going to figure it out. I think, yeah, some tracks like Catalonia, example, be absolutely fascinating with the trail braking and the recharge, because you think about Catalonia, I'm sure there's many different lines you can actually take. Norris was getting raved blue flags. That might have been for George Russell, I'm guessing, as Alex Albon goes 2 seconds slower. So a lot of the drivers clearly kind of warming up, getting into it, and that doesn't seem to be what Max Verstappen decided to do in terms of strategy. Gary, my nephew works for Red Bull. He is there. He won't be happy. Yeah, hopefully he's not a mechanic, because there'll be some work done on that car. But I think they'll be doing a debrief, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, and again I've raised this, if Red Bulls raise a few fingers at Ford here, in the same way that Aston Martin are basically hammering Honda, I wouldn't be surprised if Red Bull say, not our fault, Gov, that was to do with the engine, and that's on Ford. And I'm not sure Ford are going to be as placid as Honda are when they get a bit of stick. I think Ford won't really like that. Ford are going to want to, what do they say, socialise the victories here. I don't know what the corporate speak is. They're going to want to claim all of the victories and distance themselves from all the failures. Malu, who am I cheering for? I'm hoping to see some quick laps here. Speaking of which, George Russell 118.9, Kimi 119.6, and Mercedes are quick here. Make no doubt about it. We could be looking at George Russell championship this year, 100%. Was it last year, Melbourne, that Verstappen's brakes caught fire going into the pits? I think that was 2 years ago. And didn't Carlos Sainz win it in the end? If I remember, we've been doing these streams on the channel for a long time, so if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button, wherever it is. And also, make sure you subscribe. So let's get to 132,000 subscribers. Let's do it. If everyone watching now, make sure you're subscribed. That number in the top there will rocket up and we'll get to 132k. Yes, there's an email description. DeCosta saying Hamilton P1, mark my words. What do blue flags mean? Blue flags are shown to drivers, almost said riders, because I'm doing the motorbike as well this weekend. They're shown to drivers when there's a faster car behind. So in the race, that might be if they're being lapped. But here, if it means there's a car behind on a fast lap, and you're not on the fast lap, you'll get shown a blue flag, and it means you need to get out the way. Different to sports car racing or endurance racing, where blue flags are kind of like a bit more of a suggestion, a bit more of a guideline. Yeah, we'll be streaming tomorrow as well. Silver Surfer saying, come on, Hamilton. Let me know in the chat who you're supporting, by the way. Who do you want to get pole? I'm not seeing the usual, like, emojis and colours of your favourite drivers, which I can see in chat. Kimi Antonelli. Did Kimi have a moment in the last corner? Did he go deep? Oh, a little bit of a lock-up. Kimi is really pushing it. Just a little bit of a lock-up. And actually just skimmed the grass on the exit of turn 13, did Kimi. Here we go. Lindblad, Hamilton, Michael Aruso I can see with the emojis, and clutched up with the Ferrari emojis as well. So seeing the Tifosi out there. Hamilton at the moment in P16. I'm not sure why. Was a lap time deleted there for Hamilton? A lap time was deleted for Russell as well, but that was a slow lap. But everyone's supporting Hamilton. He probably needs his support right now because Hamilton needs to actually set a quick lap time here. So most of the cars are coming in now. So a bit more of a conventional session rather than Q1. What I mean by conventional is they'll do an out lap, a fast lap, an in lap. sit in the pits for a bit, and then they'll do that again. Angle wants Charles for pole because he's so handsome. And any reason's a valid reason. AJ, why semi-teams pit? That's why, because they're structuring their runs in that way. They'll do an out lap, so Leclerc has just gone out of the pits. He's doing an out lap, then he'll do his fast lap, they'll do an in lap. They'll go into the pits, maybe change the tyres, adjust the fuel if needed. Welcome Kevin Fernandez, Mendel De Jesus, Thomas Herwich, MNA as well, Amanda, Twisted HD. What happened to Max? Locked up into turn 1 on the rears. Seemed to be, well, given the benefit of the doubt, seemed to be some issue with the car and hit the barrier and is out qualifying. Michael, he left track on purpose and let Charles pass. Okay, so there's more like a technicality there. They might make some adjustments to the car as well in the pits. The adjustments that they are allowed to make, because a lot of the adjustments are now restricted. Dan Cat says Hamilton's straight ass. Well, I'm not sure about that because he's a 8-time world champion, as everyone knows. Charlie, F1 lap by lap said Hamilton at the moment had to back off. Okay, so bit of pressure here on Hamilton. Bit of pressure. Kelly Motor Company, who's looking good? Who do you think will take home? George Russell. If you want to bet, I'm not a betting person, but if you want to bet, I would say the bet right now is George Russell to win the championship. Remember, that car is so fast. Sorry, that's not the word, but let me put this properly. There's such concern that the Mercedes engine may be so good. There is a rule change happening halfway through the season, which is kind of unprecedented, where they're going to recheck all the engines, and basically that's going to hurt Mercedes. So it would make complete sense if Mercedes-engined cars are very strong in the first half of the season. Who does that include? That includes George Russell, who's got Mercedes engine, Piastri Mercedes, Anthony Mercedes, Norris Mercedes, and who else has got Mercedes? The Williams have Mercedes, sorry. So the Williams have Mercedes as well. So Albon has a Mercedes. Sainz's Mercedes has been stationary. Alpine as well. Sorry, that's the team I forgot. Alpine this year have Mercedes. They've sacked off making engines, which is a shame because Renault have made so many great engines in the past. And they've gone to Mercedes. But they don't seem to be benefiting that much yet. However, we'll see if Pierre Gasly is able to improve, as there was an Audi going very, very, very slowly. Flickering the lights, doing recharge. We might need to talk in future streams more about how the battery works here, with like the state of charge and things like that. Because there's different things that go on with the battery, like there's the amount of battery you're legally allowed to deploy, but then you also actually need to have the charge in the battery, and they're two different things. If anyone wants to try and explain it, they can do it in chat. Keyword, they made good engines in the past. I know, but it's a shame. It's a shame. There was a time when Renault engines were so good, they almost were like, you know, it was almost a bit unfair. And if Mercedes engines are so good, why is McLaren not that good? Are they not giving 100% to the customer? It's a great question. It's a great question. It's such a great question that, in fact, McLaren for years went on a nomadic journey where they fundamentally believed they did not want to be a customer car. So they went to Honda, and we don't talk about that. They went to Renault. We don't talk about that. And now they've come back to Mercedes, and for the last 2 years, Mercedes have actually given McLaren the engine that's won McLaren the Constructors' Championship. However, when there's a big regulation change, and Zach Brown, the CEO of McLaren, was saying this just the other day, you know, the factory team gets to understand the engine better and sooner than everyone else. But that will all get caught up. And ultimately, Mercedes won't be too disappointed if McLaren win the championship. I mean, they are the engine supplier. They also supply the safety cars as well, interestingly. So, George Russell, just gone over the line. Not sure he's improved. No, he hasn't improved, but it's very close. He's done 2 laps that are basically half a second quicker than anyone else. So, George Russell is... George Russell was saying that last year when Lando won the title, Russell just kind of sat in his car and just watched Lando celebrate. to see if it would light a fire inside him, and Russell said that it worked. So Russell's not going to hold back this season. I think he's going to eat Kimi alive, to be honest. I think we're going to see the animal from King's Lynn this year. So 2 minutes to go. There'll be drivers starting their final laps. That will include Esteban Ocon, who's just gone over the line, and his Haas teammate Oliver Bearman. Meanwhile, Alex Albon also starting a fast lap, and Bortoleto will be starting a fast lap as well, as will Isaac Hadjar, and then we'll have Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Hamilton. This is very interesting because Piastri is going to hit the back of the queue here, and you can see the concertina effect in Q2. Look, it's like planes queuing up for Heathrow here, circling over London, because it's all getting a bit congested at the end. See Antonelli and Russell and Gasly having to sort themselves out. And look at this. Ocon is about to smash into this party. Look how close Lindblad, Antonelli and Russell are. That's going to be a mess, I can tell you. And Norris will not want to have to pull over here for Esteban Ocon. He might be getting some blue flags and pretending he can't see them. And it's just working out here. It's just disaster avoided, in my opinion. But at some point, F1's luck is going to run out. And Esteban Ocon will be able to complete his lap time. In fact, amongst that, Charles Leclerc was doing a fast lap. And there goes Norris. Norris is aborted, so Norris actually isn't going to do a lap time, which is interesting. I think he's going to be okay, I think. We'll find out. He's only P6. Only the top 10 get through. Lando Norris, keep an eye out here, whether there could be an issue. But in any event, Ocon and Bearman, very slow laps. So Ocon and Bearman are not going to get through here. And Bortoleto at the moment just goes into P10, but won't have an opportunity to improve. Meanwhile, Hadjar consolidates P5. So remember, it's the bottom 6 drivers here. 11 downwards are going to get knocked out. As Albon goes into the pits. Albon's going to be out as well then. Colapinto's out. This is all taken care of itself, frankly. Let's see if Hulkenberg is going to knock out his teammate. Is Hulkenberg going to knock out Bortoleto? No, he isn't. So Bortoleto looks like he's going to be through at the moment, as is Lawson. There's no one actually able to knock anyone else out now. So the rest of these drivers can abort their laps if they so want. So they can jump into the pits if they want. Lindblad Plié, again, continuing his record of going a little bit faster than his teammate Liam Lawson. Hamilton does take the opportunity to abort. Sorry, I misspoke, because Gasly actually did have an opportunity but didn't do anything with it. So thanks, Gasly. And Charles Leclerc will be boxing anyway. So that is our bottom 6 drivers out. Hulkenberg, Bearman, Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Colapinto. I think pretty much as I predicted, actually. The Williams, both Alpines, the Hasses, and the other driver to get knocked out is Nico Hulkenberg. Interesting to see Bortoleto out-qualify Hulkenberg. Professor saying, this year the energy from the engine is split with the battery, managing the batteries being... And it's a very small battery in Formula 1. Welcome, Content Machine, Infrared, Cozy, Covergirl, Kiri, and Nugget as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, we're close. By the way, just everyone just hit subscribe right now. I'm going to move it. Come on, we want to get to 132,000. We can do it. Everyone smash it right now. I'm going to keep it here. Everyone smash it right now. That number's going to go up. We'll hit it. Yeah, we see you, Content Machine. Okay, so everyone jumping into the pits. The next session is going to be... Oh, Hamilton had a lap time deleted, actually. Hamilton was pretty lucky there. Because you see the lap times deleted. He's pretty lucky, is Lewis. But the Ferraris are through. And now we're going to see... These are going to be the fastest laps of the weekend. This is when everything's going to be turned up 100%. Hulkenberg's helmet is so good. Very nice helmet from Hulkenberg. Sophie says, who do you think has the best battery management? It's a good point that actually don't... Oh, there we go. Thanks so much, everyone. 132,000 subscribers in this stream. Look at that. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Look at this. It's like RPMs just going up. We're revving it out here. Thank you so much, everyone. Massively appreciate it. 132k. Huge. And we're doing big on the like front as well. 132,000 people in this community is pretty crazy. So welcome, everyone. You're part of a massive team. We're a huge team. Thanks, Connor Buellawell. Kelly, can you quickly explain who goes through to each qualifiers? So the top 10 drivers go through. So it's the top 10 drivers. Now Bortoleto has got a stop on his icon there, which is what we had for Verstappen before, but I think that's probably just a timing thing. I think it's saying a timing thing. Let's see. Unless there's been a lap time deleted. The yellow flags are normally just because factually there are marshals on the circuit right now just taking debris off, etc. That's why we normally have a yellow flag in between sessions. But let's just keep an eye on Bortoleto in case there's been an issue here. If there is an issue, it will still be an Audi in the top 10, I think. There could also be disqualifications after the race tomorrow. There's one of those with scrutineering, flaws, etc. We could see teams getting it wrong. Michael, give Mercedes back their steering wheel. Yeah, we'll pass it on. You have to think F1 Gamer seems to qualify. I don't think F1 Gamer has the Mercedes AMG steering wheel. Let's turn the strat up. Let's turn the strat up to 16. And let's put it in cruise. Let's put it in cruise. Can you see? That's not cruise. I've changed the engine mode. We're now in cruise. Cruising. Lawson going to crash. Let's see. Let's hope not. Let's hope there's going to be no crashes. There were no red flags in that session. Trellis says, how about you turn the colours of Audi up? Yeah, it's interesting that Audi have basically got the Ferrari colours. It almost feels wrong, given that Ferrari is such a special place in Formula 1. Get paid extra just for turning up as well. Does the strat work the same way as engine map? Yeah, we're on the slowest strat here. You're right. Strat 1 now. Now we're strat 1. We're strat 1. We're strat 1. And we can WhatsApp as well. Mercedes, yeah, okay, let's see. Who do you think is going to be on pole position, by the way? Oh, Bortoleto. Bortoleto was flashing a hazard light on the way into the pits. Did he make it into the pits? Or did Bortoleto conk out in pit entry? Oh, Bortoleto was recharging, and actually both racing bulls were behind him, and I think it might have been Lindblad who locked up in the pits, and Bortoleto has conked out in pit entry. So Bortoleto did not make it back to past the pit, past the I think the pit entry where the speed limit is. So whether Bortoleto has made it through or not, I'm not sure. Start of Q3 is going to be delayed, by the way. So I'm not sure whether Bortoleto made it into the pits and the mechanics can push him. But either way, the Audi clearly had an issue there. And there could have been a massive instance. I think Lindblad just came steaming into the pits. So then knocks his teammate out, then breaks down. Legendary behaviour. So it is Marshals. Marshals are rolling that car back into the pits. So it is not Audi mechanics. I can't see any Audi mechanics. And now Marshals are rolling him back. Whether that's to go on the weighbridge or whether that car is actually now prevented from going into Q3. And I don't think Hulkenberg will benefit here. This is going to be interesting. Do you remember last year there was a similar issue where Colapinto, I think at Imola, just like went out because they were investigating him, so he just went out so they couldn't ban him, which I thought was like absolutely hilarious. I wonder here what's going to happen with Hulkenberg. Chai says Verstappen visited medical centre. Is that from the Dutch live blog? We need to know. We're getting the up-to-date information. Alim, Audi's conking out and nothing out of the ordinary. But what was interesting, that the indicators were working on the Audi there, because both hazard lights are on. So now I'm not even sure this is actually an Audi. So Bortoletto's getting out of the car and taking his gloves off. I think Bortoletto's done because he wasn't able to get his car just a few more meters. This should be a get out and push Jensen moment. He should have got out and pushed. Ah, we can see someone with a poster, with an Oscar Piastri poster. Hopefully tomorrow we'll see one with our community on it. It is from the Dutch live blog. Okay, so it looks like Verstappen okay. Professor remembers 2014 had plenty of reliability issues at the start of the season. Yeah, was that Magnussen was on podium then? Am I going to buy Lego F1 helmets? Thing is, because I race myself, I tend to get real helmets. So this is actually my karting helmet for this year. Oh, the water. So I'm not like a mini helmet. I don't actually have any mini helmets. I don't actually know how much mini helmets are. Quali postponed because I think maybe they're working out what to do with Hulkenberg here. But yeah, it's a bit of a calamity actually, isn't it? Nugget made the rookie mistake of buying Williams. What, you bought the team? Are you Doroton Capital? How many CGs is my kart running? Mostly I'm doing 4-stroke. What are they, 390? I'm not sure. Nugget says Lindblad is pretty fast for a rookie. Yeah, he's pretty fly. And you can see that Hulkenberg confirmed knocked out. So Hulkenberg, Audi have kind of messes up a little bit. Because, anyway. No control. Which colour is Cadillac? They're kind of grey. Which kind of fades them out. The Audi livery in real life is quite nice. Right, Q3 is about to start in a minute. So I'm doing karting. These trophies here are from karting. But this year we're going to be doing car track days with the community. So of the 132,058 subscribers, hopefully we're going to have a few people come down to the sim racing track days. Is this the worst time to be an F1 YouTuber having to wake up work so well? I'm a new dad as well, so my times of day are just like, there's a bit of a arbitrary notion at the moment. Coaching says Lewis is more positive here. Right, I want to hear from you guys. Put in the chat the driver that you think is going to get pole position. As Q3 starts, 13 minutes, put in the chat which driver is going to get pole position. I want to hear from you. Tony says Leclerc. GG Leclerc. Jondre says Lewis. Corruptly Leclerc. Malu says Russell. I'm using my real car for track days. We're going to be going in the Peugeot RCZ, the sports car. Lewis for pole, Leclerc, Russell, Norris. Rare Norris mention. Lawson, Russell, Leclerc, George, Piastri. Not that much coming from Piastri. Sir Lewis Hamilton here. Piastri, Antonelli, Michael Lewusu. Isaiah David Edwards says, Lewis Hamilton, please mention me. Totally Kimmy, Garav saying Russell, Jovi Russell. Jovi Antonelli. Did you change your mind? Hang on, can we get Jovi 17? You said Russell and then you said Antonelli. Like, come on, got to get off the fence here. Okay, so we are green flag right now, and we'll be Oscar Piastri, the home driver. He will start the lap time first. It can't be Adrian Sutil. Isn't he in jail? The Hound of Monaco. Imagine Adrian Sutil was actually like still in F1 like Fernando Alfonso. Do you think Lando's holding back? Let's see. Adav says Leclerc Hamilton. Right, okay, let's see what happens here because Oscar Piastri, very different strategy to Norris. Norris is on his out lap. Piastri's already on his flying lap. And Bortoletto showing in pit, but I don't think it's going to work. Salesforce. What does Salesforce actually do? What is Activero? Well, I really hate all these little AI pop-ups they do. So patronising. Okay, so Oscar Piastri is on a fast lap. Sector 1. Let's see. It'll be purple because it's first one. Actually, is he on a fast lap? I'm not sure now. The 31.1. Wait, he's actually in jail. Yeah, I think that's no joke. I think he might actually be in jail. Okay, so Russell as well going to start his flying lap. I'm not convinced that Piastri is on a fly. No, Piastri, I think he is on a fly. We'll find out. 19.9. Just not a particularly fast sector when you compare it to George Russell. Russell's on 19.1. I think the Mercedes just looks so sublime to drive, I have to say. Thank you, Hamad Haluk. Good to see you again. How do you reply to chats? Just use the force. Right, Oscar Piastri going to go over the line. Let's see what it's going to be. Low 1 minute 8. Oh no, it's not. It's not. Oh, red flag! Red flag! Red flag! Red flag! Red flag! What's happened here? Red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Put your red emojis in. I can't see. Oh, something's come off a car, and it looks like something potentially, surely not from the top of the roll hoop. Oh, it's got some green paint on it. What's that? It looks very unusual. There's a mystery object. Surely not from Kimi's car. Surely they didn't do what I said earlier and they left something on. Oh my god, they've done it. They've done it. They've done it. We called this earlier. We said it earlier. We said there's an increased risk that they're going to send Kimi out with something on his car like they did with Alex Albon in Azerbaijan. They've sent Kimi out with the with something in his air intake. The blower. So I was looking at this thing on the track. I was saying, what is that? It looks like that thing in the Truman Show when a light just fell from the sky. It's like, that was some green on it. Now someone's driven over it. Someone's driven over it and now it's in a million pieces. Now you couldn't even tell what it is because it's just destroyed. Who drove over it? Own up. Right, session stop, red flag. That's going to really curtail this session as well. Are we still going to get people able to do 2 separate runs? Don't tell me it was Lando. Lando, did you drive over it? Lando. Mr. Norris. Mr. Norris drove over it. Could be some damage there. It's a pretty sizable blower. Oh, obliterated. Very satisfying, actually. I encourage you after the race to find slow-mo images of that because it just went into a million pieces. It's like those videos, you know, when people drop Lego models. I think they do it on purpose, right? They build a Lego model and then they show it to their wife and then like they're like, whoa, and then it falls into a... It's really satisfying. I assume they're staged, but that's basically... It looked like, actually, to be honest, it looked like the blower was made out of Lego. Basically, Lando just smashed up Kimi's blower. That is an actual sentence. That is correct. Welcome, Lucky, Nikosi, Felix, Isaiah, Edward, Hugo Wong, kissing me as well. How long will it take to clear the debris? Well, not that long now because they can just... Well, actually, a bit longer. They can still sweep it and pick up a single thing. I don't know because what happened with Alex Albon? Wasn't it that Albon spotted it and he pulled over on pit exit? Kimi went out here a lot later.
Okay, crack on.
So yeah, we will see. By the way, does anyone know what time is the race starting tomorrow? GMT. What time tomorrow is the race starting GMT? Is it the same time? Or is it later? Or is it earlier? What time is the race starting? Is it 4 AM? Am I going live at 3? I'm going to guess. 4 AM. Oh my god, okay, so we're going live at 3. I'm just scheduling that now. The racing gods do not want this to be Antonelli's year. Well, you'd hate to be the mechanic that left that in there, right? Yeah, I think it's a little. It's normally raced a little bit earlier. YouTube always tells me now would be a great time to insert adverts. I think the pop-ups actually get bigger. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you not putting any ads in here? You mad? But I'm not. I'm just gonna add the redirect to the stream tomorrow. There we go. So who crashed? No one actually crashed. It's a red flag without a crash. But Kimi Anthony went out with the leaf blower on the right duct. And at some point, that was ejected. And it was ejected as soon as he went out of turn 1. What's really interesting... Oh, hang on, were there two? Were they both in? Oh my goodness. Hang on. This is very confusing. Something was ejected in turn 1 and went into the gravel. It was pretty harmless. But something else was ejected on the exit of turn 2. Yeah, track has been cleared now. And then Lando Norris, almost like you would in a video game, just decided to smash it to bits. You should run some ads. I tell you what, if anyone wants me to run ads, I'll press the ad button. So I've never pressed it before. If enough people say ad, I'll press the ad button. It says insert ad, and I don't know what happens. I don't know if it's an overlay or something. I don't think it was both blowers because there wasn't any blower in the other side. I think... Oh, well, Dark Cloud's saying both sides left in. I can't believe you guys are actually asking for ads. Like, what is going on? Right, I'm pressing it. I'm pressing it. Okay, it says ads inserted. So now we find out who's got YouTube Premium. This is a YouTube Premium exclusive section. This part of the stream is brought to you by YouTube Premium, and I can confirm that Kimi Antonelli is going to be investigated after the session. Anyone who's in an ad won't get that. They won't get that exclusive information. Did anyone actually get an ad? And if so, what ad did you get? And was it a picture-in-picture? Or did it like... Or is it like the Audi advertise? Is it an F1 Focus ad? Yeah, I've never pressed it before. They always say, they're like, as soon as you get like 20 viewers, they say, oh, now would be a really good time to insert ads. And actually, they sent me a survey yesterday. The survey said, we noticed that you don't run ads on your live stream. Why is it? And I said, I just think there's no point because I run ads on the YouTube videos, but even then, watching a YouTube video without premium is a pretty horrific experience. It's not like I make the videos with thinking where the ads are going to be. Gina skipped. Prehistoric got no ad. Did anyone got Gordon Ramsay? Ah, Keegan. Okay, Keegan's done a super chat for $2. That means that we don't have to do... There's going to be no more ads throughout the rest of this stream because Keegan has paid the entire ad budget. Everyone liked that from Keegan. Miss Quali, how's Leclerc looking? Leclerc is looking pretty decent. I'd be surprised if he can get pole position. But the Ferraris were able to use medium tyres in Q1. So the Ferrari's looking strong. But thank you, Keegan, for making sure that this is going to be the remainder is going to be an ad-free broadcast. Arnav says, I think it was something related to insurance. Is that indicative of how bad the ad is? That you don't even... It's not clear actually what the product is. No ad. Luffy got Durex ad. Lando Norris's car is taped together now. Yeah, there's some tape coming out for Lando Norris. So Lando Norris has had his fair share of bad luck, I would say, in Melbourne. MVP Keegan. That's a bit cheeky for Toyota. Actually, Toyota are in Formula 1 now, I suppose. Okay, so the session has restarted. And Kimi, ironically, is first out. Do we know what the penalty is likely to be there? Because I suspect there's going to be at least a 3-place grid drop for an unsafe release. That has to be an unsafe release. In many ways, it's not that different to leaving without your tyre fully attached. Welcome Optimistic Out, CD, Lordley, Hussein and Mahin as well. Action got a Hilton ad. Can you explain the use of soft, medium and hard tyres? So in any Formula 1 race, there are 3 dry compounds of tyres available. Compounds just mean a slightly different type of rubber. And the hardest tyre is the hardest wearing tyre, so it lasts the longest, but it's not quite as grippy, so it's slower. The medium tyre's in the middle, and the soft tyre, which they have a red circle, red wall on them, whatever you call it, sidewall. They are the grippiest tyres, the stickiest tyres, but they don't last. They last the least amount of time. Usually, sometimes there's some weird overlap, where actually the hard tyre's just better than the medium tyre in pretty much every way. But in qualifying, generally in the last part of qualifying, you're going to see everyone on the softest tyre, which is what we have now. Is that a drone or is that an ant on my screen? Something on my screen. I thought it was a drone following the car there. I saw at the Winter Olympics there were tons of drones, and I'm sure Formula 1 want to be all over that. If the drones can go fast enough. They'll need little Formula 1 drones. Each team should be allowed to have their own drone for their cars, and they also design the drones. Tony, I'll be fine when anybody gets pole, but only Norris can't. So Antonelli is going to be completing a lap here. But actually, it looks like Antonelli's backed off. Antonelli's backed off here, and Russell's going to get through. Is it a mistake for Antonelli? Yes, it is. It is a mistake. I think in maybe turn 6, Antonelli's gone through the gravel. So Antonelli's made a mistake and lets George Russell through. So what an exciting session it is for Kimi Antonelli. Undercut and overcut we'll go into tomorrow. We'll talk about that in the race stream, because that's going to be really interesting for the race stream. Bortoletto's out because his Audi conked out in the pit entry at the exit at the end of Q2. So Russell, let's see what Russell's going to do. This could be provisional pole. This could actually be the pole lap. This could be the pole lap. Let's see. 119 dead for George Russell. Antonelli boxes. And Hadjar 119.6. Not bad from Hadjar. Only half a second off the Mercedes. Russell is zooming. Yeah, well, the compression is what's changing is the test. Actually, the ambient. They're going to start testing at 130 degrees. It's very clever what Mercedes did. It's very cunning, because they clarified the rules and got the rules changed, and then explicitly had permission to do what they wanted to do. Hamilton 120.4, 1.3 off for Lewis Hamilton, and Lando Norris 119.6, so a little bit faster than Hadjar, but 6/10 off. I think we're about to see a season of, well, I think we're about to see the first part of the season of George Russell domination. That's what I think. Does anyone disagree with me? Are we entering the George Russell domination era, and are we ready for it? Are we ready for a smirking, smarmy Russell to be dominating? T-posing all over the place. Why isn't Hamilton fast? I'm not sure, but let's see what happens in the next run. They're all going to come into the pits now, and then they'll all go out again. There's going to be another run from everyone, as long as there's no red flags. How does qualifying work? First time watching F1. It's pretty complicated, but everyone's going to come into the pits now, and then everyone's going to go out again. They're going to go very fast in a circle, and we'll see who sets the fastest lap time and who doesn't crash, essentially. Noel says the Ferrari copium is wearing off. Reality sinking in. Why is Kimi in the pit? Because he aborted his lap. So if you're just joining us, we're about to... This is what it all comes to, which is a final laps of Q3. And I really think it's going to be... There's a question, is Kimi going to get a second place? Because if Kimi slots in and gets second place here with such a dramatic session... Remember, his car... I'm not even sure, by the way. I'm not even sure Kimi Antonelli would be in Q3 if Verstappen hadn't crashed. Does anyone agree with that? I don't think Kimi Antonelli would even be in Q3 if Verstappen hadn't crashed. So if Kimi can actually get a slot into P2, to me it clearly shows, it exposes truly how fast that Mercedes is. And are we ready for another period of Mercedes domination? Let's see. Shame we don't have Verstappen in Q3. Be interesting to see him mix it. Sophie, why not Russell dominate second half? Yeah, they're going to, in June, they're going to change the check on the engine compression ratio, and they're going to test it at 130 degrees rather than that ambient temperature. They're going to test it at something that's closer to operating temperature. Because at the moment, basically, everyone knows that Mercedes engine is illegal, but no one can test it. And all of Mercedes customers will know this as well, surely. So it's a bit of an open secret. And the negotiated position has been that the test is going to change in June. And the test will expose that actually... well, it won't expose anything because Mercedes will have changed it by then. Such is the shady world of Formula One. Will confirm me. Good late evening. How you doing? It's a stretch to call 5 a.m. good evening, I have to say. StarTech calling it now. Verstappen P1 from pits. Let's remember that. StarTech saying P1 from the pits. Why can't they test the engine now? Because the rules say it's tested at ambient temperature. And at ambient temperature, it's fine. But what happens with engines is everything kind of can stretch at operating temperature. Yeah, Carlos didn't get a lap in. What's my predictions for the race? I think Mercedes domination. Well, I think there'll be 3 red flags. Z4, Alan, does McLaren still have upper hand this year? No, but they do have the Mercedes engine. It just seems like they have a few more gremlins to work out than Mercedes. It's like Mercedes have really been focusing on 26, which might explain some of the dismal performances recently in recent years. Actually, I think Ferrari can take pole tomorrow. I don't think anyone's going to take pole tomorrow. Or it's a bit of damage on the wing. I think, yeah, they taped it down. Interestingly, they didn't change the wing, right? Am I correct in thinking they didn't change the wing? They taped it. Is that not a little bit odd? I think it's harder to change front wings this year because of the active aero, by the way. Can anyone... That's interesting that they've taped it. ZF, shout out Hajar, no drama. Right, so what's happening now is the final laps are taking place. So Oscar Piastri starting his final lap. Leclerc, Hajar. Chat, what I want you to do, 4,000 people watching. I want everyone watching, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button right now for free. Because it really helps me out. And we're trying to do some more like real racing stuff. And it really helps me out. So please, for free, just hit the subscribe button. You won't regret it. And also, if you don't mind, if you'd be so kind, hit the like button as well. We get to 500 likes. So I think Piastri is going to be the first driver to set a lap time here, and these are going to be the final laps. Welcome, Kevin De Bruyne. Maybe they didn't have a spare front wing. Sounds crazy, but let's see. It seems truly bizarre that you wouldn't change it, but anyway. Yep, they're finishing their out laps, and well, they're on flight. Everyone but Lawson. In fact, let me hold for a few seconds. Hold the line. Everyone's on the flying lap. Everyone's on the flying lap right now. Look at the numbers going up. Thanks so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Right, here is Piastri. Will Piastri take provisional pole? I don't think so. Not with the middle sector like that. I think he's made a mistake in the middle sector, and the first sector's not great, so definitely not. Piastri, yeah, 8/10 off George Russell. Shocking, frankly, that Piastri's so far off. What about Charles Leclerc for the Tifosi? P3. Again, 8/10 off, but slots in just ahead of Charles Leclerc. This is showing that Mercedes are really the pick of the pack here. What about Isaac Hajar? Can Hajar go P3? Will Hajar slot in there? Yes, he does. So, just under 8/10, 119.3. But again, Kimi Antonelli managed to slot in there in P2. I think we're looking at Mercedes domination. Here comes Lando. Can't improve. Sorry, does improve, but doesn't go faster than Piastri. Almost a second off. Hamilton improves just, wow, 300ths behind Lando Norris there. So pretty close between the Ferraris and the McLarens. Not a lot to pick between them. What about Arvid Lindblad? Can he spoil the party? No, in P8. And Liam Lawson, I think George Russell might spoil the party here for everyone and abort this lap. Let's see. Liam Lawson, oh, does when it counts. That's what matters. He does go faster than Arvid Lindblad. Looks like Lindblad actually had a mistake, a very slow lap from Lindblad, 121.2. And George Russell is going to spoil the party and is going to come into the pit. That Mercedes is super quick. I think we're looking at Mercedes domination until June. We can definitely talk about Isaac Hajar, because Isaac Hajar, you know, this time last year, give or take a few hours, Hajar was in tears being consoled by Lewis Hamilton's dad in the paddock because Helmut Marko had thrown Isaac Hajar under the bus. And I thought it was I turned into Sean Connery a bit there. I thought it was disgraceful scenes, frankly, from the Red Bull camp. That at that time still had Christian Horner on board. So Hajar's gone from 0 to hero a little bit here, now in P3. Russell, okay mate, so as I say around here, that was a fair dinkum lap pole position. And Russell saying great job getting Kimi's car out as well. I think we're looking at Russell domination. which track will be most dominant for Mercedes? I would say look at the calendar and just pick all of them. Yolanda says yay for Hadjar. Aid says Anthony might be... good point. Anthony might be penalised, but I think irrespective of that, the pace is so good on the Mercedes, clearly. And this compression ratio is going to come under scrutiny because at some point, are people going to say that actually the FIA were pretty naive here in clarifying the rules originally to doing this test at ambient temperature? And have the FIA made a big mistake? Oh my goodness. Oh. I've got bolts. Look, this is basically what happened to Kimi. Thing is about being a sim racer, you end up having bolts everywhere. Bolts and bits. But yeah. Any Mercedes fans in the chat? Any Mercedes fans? Let me know. Interestingly, the driver's been stopped in the pit lane, which seems a bit dangerous to me, I've got to be honest. Because the pit lane's all blind, and they're queuing the cars in the pit lane. I'm not sure it's always been like that at Melbourne. Malu's happy. DJ says no. Turgatory Mercedes. They'll see 7/10 off. Yeah, but you have to separate the driver from the car. Like, he's beaten Lewis Hamilton, his idol. He's beaten Charles Leclerc. And where's Max Verstappen? Well, nowhere near Isaac Hadjar. Karina says Hadjar cooking. George Russell does a wave. George Russell looks exactly as you'd expect George Russell to look. Toto Wolff hugs on the pit wall. I think Peter Bonington up there. Engineering Kimi Antonelli now. I think Mercedes know they've got a bit of a PR thing to win here because our fans going to be bored of Mercedes domination. David Edwards, bro, where's Ferrari pace? Well, it's kind of there. Ferrari there, you know. The really interesting thing is, if we just remove the Mercedes for a moment, it's really interesting to see that Red Bull pace, the Ferrari pace, and the McLaren pace so similar. Given that you're talking about 3 different engines there. Yeah, good point from Action. Ferrari going to get a P1 at the start. Can't rule that out. I don't know if one of the mods can post the stream link for tomorrow as well, because that is up as well tomorrow. So we will be back tomorrow for the race. And in between, I will be doing Moto America with the footage. We'll be covering the Daytona 200 as well. I just want to say, big thanks to anyone also that voted for us as Creator of the Year. Look at this dude. Who's that dude? Now, yes, we didn't win it, but, you know, next year. We go for it next year. Maybe fans are going to be bored of our domination. Who knows? ICC thought Ferrari would dominate. I think you were on the copy, my friend. Shia, I hope Leclerc catches up and Verstappen pulls up masterclass. There we go. Thank you, Shia. Professor, we'll see how they do over race distance. I think there will be reliability. But if you go back to testing, Mercedes looking very reliable. Welcome, Simba. Simba in the house. Seems as though I was watching energy deployment and recharge quality. Nail Sector 1 recharge. Anything you noticed from the onboards? I guess you were all over the onboards. Where the time was gained and lost there. As George Russell kind of is very smarmy, let's be honest. Very smug. He's 28, he's in his prime. He's clearly the number 1 in this team. And he's seen his mate, Lando Norris, win the World Championship. He's seen his mate, Alex Albon, drive for Red Bull while he was in the Williams. He's beaten Lewis Hamilton in equal machinery. So is it George Russell's time? George Russell is 46. No, he's not 46. That's Fernando Alfonso, and he's almost 45. Welcome, Stephen Lebrando, Fabian Semir, Gabin, RT, Carl Thompson, Alan Bronson, Sebastian, Davco, Claire, Paolo, David, Felipe, Elias as well. Didn't he almost get signed? What do you mean? Professor, it's annoying to have to downshift along straight. They took the Fast and the Furious downshift to go faster a bit too seriously. And also Verstappen tomorrow. Is this going to be something near the end of the season? We're like, oh, you know, if Verstappen hadn't messed it up, literally the first turn in anger in qualifying in the first race of the season, is he dropping valuable points? Why do you have this mango obsession? I actually don't like mango. I don't have a mango obsession. I don't like mangoes. It's too gloopy. What do you think will happen is Albon replace Antonelli? I don't think that'll happen. I think Antonelli has had a pretty astonishing day. You know, a few hours ago he was in the wall big time and the car was in bits, frankly. I think there's a question mark. He only actually got P2 here because Verstappen kindly binned it for him. Thanks, Chai. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Gab, Hadjar performed well, but we don't know if he's really on fire with the car. So wait to see the point. Good point, actually. It's a good point. See the Bugatti in there. Let's see what Verstappen can do. But it's a great turnaround for Hadjar because he had a real low last season in a team, in a setup that don't often afford drivers that much time and space, and they were pretty ruthless on him. And it's me saying I thought it was pretty disgraceful, but maybe that helped. I don't know, because we saw Hadjar just going strength to strength all the way through the season, and we've seen in free practice here that he's really comfortable in the Red Bull. And are we going to see a point where Hadjar actually puts pressure on Max? Well, at the moment, he's done better than Max, because Hadjar didn't bin it in turn 1. McLaren domination boom last year. See what's papaya rules? No one knows what papaya rules really is. So what's the first rule of papaya rules? No one knows what it is. If you were Cadillac, who would you sign as drivers? I thought, so this is what I've been saying. When they signed Perez and Bottas, I thought, okay, they need a lot of feedback on that car. They need a lot of feedback. So there's no point putting Colton Herta or someone in there. They need feedback on that car from experienced F1 drivers. So I think it could be a long season if you're a Cadillac fan. Thanks, Wayneswell. Thanks to commentary. Learn who Fernando Alfonso is. He's the most experienced driver in Formula 1 at the moment, but also a rookie. Papaya rules are the rules made up along the way. Yeah, quali's done. So our classification is George Russell first, Kimi Antonelli second, Isaac Hadjar third, Charles Leclerc fourth, Piastri fifth, Norris sixth. So McLaren dominance seems to be over, but bear in mind they do have that Mercedes PU. So when they really work out how to harness it, that could change. Hamilton P7, Liam Lawson, Hamilton P7. Like people was at the beginning, we were saying it's Lewis Hamilton domination. Hasn't happened. Actually, Max Verstappen going to Mercedes as soon as he can. Great shout. Imagine putting Russell and Verstappen together. It's a bit like putting Alonso and Hamilton together at McLaren back in the day. Well, it's actually not like that at all, but it's what it turned out to be. Vision Tommy, it's not the Mercedes fastest, but everyone's slow. Thanks for all the love hearts coming in. Appreciate it. Michael says, I'm crying right now. StarTech, Kimi destroyed the car earlier compared to Max. We know Max doesn't make mistakes. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry to break it to you. Like, yeah, sorry, it'd be Prost and Senna at McLaren, wouldn't it? It'd be absolute fireworks. The other thing is, if the Mercedes is going to be quick for this entire rule set, this entire formula, I feel like Mercedes almost owe it to the fans of Formula 1 to put Russell and Max together, because if they're going to be so far ahead, it's like we want to see some like Rosberg and Hamilton stuff. Do you think they'll re-sign Hamilton? Well, hang on. Has Hamilton made a generational fumble here? Chat, has Hamilton made a generational fumble? What's up with the battery on Lewis's car? I don't know. Welcome, Fins and Roses, Quad Boss, PP, V5 Cog. People who says yes. Tony, isn't it obvious enough? Because what did Hamilton achieve last year apart from cold hard cash? Let Hamilton be second driver at any of the top 2-4 teams now. Crew Dog, I wouldn't mind seeing Hamilton get another championship one more time. Nico Palou is dominant IndyCar. Cadillac, take a look at him. Junior, so this mean the constructor championship goes to Mercedes automatically? No, it's not. It's not a case. It's not like It's not like an election where the other teams will concede now. They still have to do all the races. Michael says the biggest fumble ever. Is it the biggest fumble in history? Yeah, he won the sprint race, but what happened the day after? Put it in chat. What happened the day after? We can't just say stuff like that. Dark Cloud says long season. Dark Cloud back in the membership. Colton Herter was P13 and F2, yeah, but he'll be learning. V5, I think Lewis is regretting leaving, like Newey's regretting going to Aston. I think Newey's going to get fired. I don't think Newey can be the person to change it around because he owns the disaster. KDB said Hamilton said it's a long-term project. Yeah, maybe we should speak to Fernando Alfonso about that. See how Alfonso's project's going. Carl, how come Ferrari can never translate practice success into qualifying? You don't. There's no prize for being the practice world champions. See at Basca, what's my prediction for tomorrow? Russell P1, Antonelli P2. Doesn't even matter if Antonelli gets a 3-place grid drop. Russell P1, Antonelli P2. And I think absolute Russell domination. However, interest to the practice start. Interest to the practice start. Newey's a part owner of Aston Martin. Well, he'll just have to fire himself then, won't he? Len, pole time was 3 seconds slower than last year. They're racing tractors. Is Formula E now quicker? Is Formula E now faster than Formula 1? Kit Kat is the official chocolate bar. I didn't even know Kit Kat still existed. Like, seriously, who's buying so many Kit Kats? There's barely any chocolate in it. It's not a chocolate, it's not a biscuit. Welcome TTT. TTT saying Russell can't drive. Well, explain yourself. Explain yourself. The entire nation of Japan. I don't know what... I'm losing track on what that's an answer to. What's the question to that answer? Can someone come up with a good question where the answer is the entire nation of Japan, smiling face? Yeah, so wafer. Nia, take a look at Project Motor Racing. I play Project Motor Racing all the time. I review all my... You watch my review videos. I'm always on Project Motor Racing. Americans buy Kit Kats. Trust me, I am here. Who buys Kit Kats? Okay, here's it. We've got 1,000 people watching. That's a pretty good survey. Who in chat has bought a Kit Kat in the last year? Yes or no? Me, I'm a no. Who's bought a Kit Kat in the last year? What would happen when Lawrence Stroll sells a team? The answer: the entire nation of Japan. Okay, Michael loved Kit Kat, but you didn't say whether you bought one or not. V5, yes. Lauren, yes. KDB, yes. DG, yes. Tell, no too expensive. Charlie, yes. Okay, so hang on. Loads of people bought Kit Kats. Why are you people not buying Crunchies? Why are you people not buying Crunchies when you're at the convenience store? Black says no. Cool dude bought 2 Kit... Oh, there's an F1 prize. Is it like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory? Do you get like a gold thing in it? Are you playing the numbers game? Are you moneyballing it? Kit Kat popular in the US? Professor says Crunchies are. Answer: the entire nation of Japan. Yeah, Q3's done. So I just want to see if they're going to give a penalty to Antonelli. I presume there's a standard unsafe release penalty. Whether they'll do it as a DQ to make it more fun, we will see. Crunchies don't exist here. What's a Crunchie? Crunchies slap. If you haven't got Crunchies, you're not... I don't know what's going on. But if you're buying if you don't have Crunchies, and I can maybe see where you're buying Kit Kats. But if you got Crunchies, I don't know why you're buying Kit Kats. A Crunchie is better than a Kit Kat in literally every way. And I think I think to me a Kit Kat just seems expensive for a ton of wafer. And like wafer is not premium. Wafer is filler. Like, you want chocolate or you want good biscuit. But wafer, like, what is wafer made out of? Wafer, it feels like it's made out of, like, recycled cardboard or something. Like, it's hidden. Wafer is like, you coat it in chocolate to disguise how, like, you know, inedible the wafer is. Are the Middle East races getting moved? I reckon they'll move them. I mean, why go? Well, you don't need to race there. If there's a war going on, you don't need to go. Just call it now. It's just weak leadership. Yeah, MDF coated in chocolate. It's literally like laminated MDF, where the laminate is chocolate. That's why low calorie. But then you may as well have a celery. Have chocolate coated celery. Why is chocolate coated celery not a thing? Yeah, they should replace it with. We'll go to Imola. We'll go to the Sachsenring, which is a track I'm starting. That I think is an amazing track. Where else should we go? We should go. Well, Turkey's maybe. Yeah, we'll go Turkey. Go to Istanbul. We should go to WatEG. Go to Watkins Glen, and we should go to the north. In fact, we go to Hockenheim. What are we talking about? We should go to Hockenheim, Sepang, and Imola. Yeah, is Imola on the Is Imola on the calendar this year? Don't tell me Imola's not on the calendar. We should go to Imola, Sepang, and then and Hockenheim, and maybe even just do Nordschleife. Sweden chocolate is our Kit Kat. People less chocolate. I don't know what that is. Vision hasn't seen a crunchy in years. Right, chat. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I know one of the mods could post a link to it. I'm going to record a summary of qualifying for Formula Fan TV, which is the motorsport channel. It's rebranded Formula Fan TV. But also now I collaborate it with this channel, and I will send it to my editor. He's a little bit advanced timeline, and that'll be edited and should go up very soon on Formula Fan TV. We did one yesterday that's done really well. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to probably have a little nap because I'm going to be back for the Daytona 200, which is a really big deal. So we're doing a really big thing with the Daytona 200 later. And thanks for everyone who's joined on Daytona 200 stuff. Oh, and I see I've got the poster. I've got the poster in my email as well. Piastri rules. Sub to Kireth. That poster's going to be there. It's very papaya. Right, everyone. So I'm going to end the stream there. Okay, there's a Formula Fan TV. So go check that out. Make sure you subscribe there if you want to see the race recap and any more race recap. We should call it. That's a good name. And any more thoughts I have will go there, and then we'll be back tomorrow 3 a.m. for the race. And maybe we'll do some fun stuff if they cancel the Middle East races. Maybe we'll do some fun stuff as well. But thanks so much everyone for joining. Giolando, no Imola on the calendar. Such a shame. I feel like it only came back because of COVID though. But it's just a great circuit. Got us that iconic moment between Bottas and George Russell. Russell slapped Bottas on the helmet. Thanks Blacker, thanks Michael, Sia, V5, DJ, KDB Vision, Professor, everyone else. Thanks so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow or later today. I lose track.